Okay, welcome back for your last video station here for area of a trapezoid this time. Now this figure is called a trapezoid. Now the characteristics of a trapezoid, it is a quadrilateral, means it has four sides, but only one pair of the sides are parallel. So that means if it's turned where the parallel sides are on the top and bottom, then these two cannot be parallel. Now some trapezoids will have a right angle. Some will be isosceles, meaning the two sides here will be the same, and some are not. Okay, but these are all trapezoids. Now, I'm going to show you using this one right here why the formula works for a trapezoid. Now, your warm-up today talked about finding the average of two grades. So when you find the average of something, you add two things together, you add two numbers together and divide by 2, or however many there are. In this case, we'll be adding them together and dividing by 2. All right, so here is, go ahead and cut out your trapezoid right now. Okay, so you should have it like this. Now I numbered these. I gave the measurements here. Oh, my height was 6 here. Sorry, I forgot that. Now, everything we've done so far with our rectangle, we work with base times height. And our triangle, we work with trying to get back to the idea of base times height. And what we did was divide by 2. And our parallelogram, we worked with base times height. On a trapezoid, it gets tricky because I see my height, but what is my base? Is my base going to be 16 because this is 16 centimeters across here, or is my base going to be 8? Okay, on a trapezoid, we have two bases, and we can't find base times height if we have two bases. So what we actually have to do is find the average of your two bases. Okay, so if across here, this one is 16 units and this is 8 units, what am I going to use for my base? Well, you're actually not going to use either one. So what I'm going to have you do, we're going to cut off one of my triangles in this trapezoid. We're going to cut off one triangle here. So my base right now, still my bottom base here, is still 16 units. But what I'm going to do is flip this over here. I'm going to come turn it around up here. We're still not taking up any more space, but we're just moving it. Now, we're back to a rectangle. Now, how did I find the area of a rectangle? Base times height. Well, I know that my height was 6, but what is my base now? This base is no longer 16, and it's not 8. What is it? 8 plus 4 is 12 here, and this 8 plus that 4, you can barely see it, it's 12 there. So really, if I did 12 times 6, that would give me the area. That would be 72 square centimeters. Now, how do we do that mathematically? The area of a trapezoid, we take 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2 times your height. Now, this gets really tricky because that looks so crazy, right? That's a lot to understand. Does it matter which one is base 1 and base 2? We have a 16 and an 8. It doesn't matter. All we're doing is adding them. And remember that commutative property told us we could add them in whichever order we wanted. So 8 plus 16 or 16 plus 8. We have a base 1 and a base 2. Now, why are we taking 1/2 of it? Well, because when you average two things, you're adding them together and dividing by 2. So I'm going to circle this part right here. I want you to really, really focus on that. What this is just the average of your two bases. That's how I got the number 12. 4 and 8. Okay, that's how I got the number 12, and then multiply it by your height. Now, mathematically, when I solve this, I would do 1/2 of 16 plus 8 times 6. Well, 16 plus 8 is going to be 24. 1/2 of 24 times 6. These are all multiplication here. So 1/2 of 24 is 12 times 6 is 72 centimeters squared. And that's how you solve this. It looks just like order of operations. We see addition, we see multiplication, and we see multiplication. Now, 1/2 of something, remember that's the same as dividing by 2. If I want to multiply by 1/2, it is the same as dividing by 2. So you add them together and divide by 2. And then you just multiply by your height. Okay, we are not able to use 16 or 8 as our base. We have to find the average of the two. Now, remember what we did mathematically, we split the difference. What's halfway between 8 and 16? That's 12. Okay, we cut off one piece over here and we spun it around, and our base here was now 12. And that's what we did. We added them together and split the difference. All right, so you're gonna practice a few more of these. They're kind of tricky. I want to go through one more up here, and then you're going to solve this on your paper. My base here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. My base up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 units. My height here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Now let's call this one over here maybe a 7, and we'll call this one another 6 over here. Now, which of these do you use? Do we need this 7 and this 6 right here? Absolutely not. This, we can call this your base 1. We can call this base 2. And we're going to call this the height, because remember, your height is always perpendicular to your base. They meet at a 90-degree angle. So these are the 3 numbers that you use, and put these into your formula. All right, so you're going to practice this. I want you to solve this problem, and then you will have a few more in your Edpuzzle for this station.